Good morning. I am Reverend Jamel Gilliam. This is the Baltimore Center for Love. This is also a pre recorded message. February's monthly theme is radical interconnection. And I like to talk about the weekly topic. It is the emptiness, the wonder of interbeing. We tend to focus on science, the science in the science of mind, but living is as much an art as science. Every moment we are creating, and we never create in a vacuum. Every moment we are creating with all human beings, all beings, both human and non human, alive now, as well as all who have ever lived. And so we talk about living beings. We're talking about animals, other species of plants, plants, trees, flowers, vegetables. Those are living beings, but also the human, those amongst us who walk amongst us. Every moment we are weaving and are woven into the great tapestry of interbeing. We are called as conscious beings to participate in the transformation of our world. So in Buddhism, we always understand action as having three aspects: thinking, speaking, and acting. When we produce a thought, it is energy, it is action, and it can change us and change the world in a good way or in a bad way. If it is the right kind of thinking, it will have a healing, nourishing effect on our body and our environment. Right thinking can make the world a better place to live. Speaking can also have the effect of releasing tension, reconciling conflict, or bringing hope. And physical action is an energy that can bring healing to ourselves and the world. And so we also know that we can do something that has the power of protecting and saving, the protecting, saving, and supporting of bringing relief. Every thought that we produce, every word we pronounce, everything we do changes our body, our mind, and our environment. The environment in which we find ourselves is us. It is the result of our actions. You have to be responsible for both your own body and your mind and for your environment. Your environment is you. With mindfulness, compassion, and understanding, you can assume a better future for yourself and the world. And this is a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh in the book Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. So I always start with a declaration or an affirmation. And so today is no different. The affirmation is: I embrace my connection with all life. Let's say that. I embrace my connection with all life. So, as usual, I have scripture that follows up and reinforces that affirmation. And so this is no different. First Corinthians 12:12 says, for just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For in one spirit we are all baptized into one body, Jews and Greeks, slaves or free, and we were all made to drink of the one spirit. Indeed, the body does not consist of one member, but of the many. And so here Paul talks about how we're really all truly connected, deeply connected in the body of Christ. And so John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit, because apart from me, you can do nothing. And so it's just really, John, a lot of the references were made by Jesus. He was basically saying that through him, through his thinking, through his ways, through his lessons, through a lot of the things that he taught, he was able to show people that they can do a lot of things. Now, there were many Christs who have come along, not just Jesus, but Christ was a title. And so we know that through learning these lessons and understanding what he brought, there was an opportunity there. And John 15:5 says no different. So here are some points of view. So because February represents Black History Month, of course, we know that Black history is celebrated throughout the year. We know that the shortest month in the year uh, was given to us. And recently, the federal government decided that it was not going to happen. But we don't need anyone's permission to celebrate who we are. Martin Luther King, in a book, a writing called "The Interrelated Structure of Reality," said that all humanity is there's an interconnection. He emphasized that no one can exist in isolation. In his theology, he was greatly influenced by Christianity, of course, but he also was influenced by Gandhi and other global justice movements. And so, in the letter from Birmingham jail, and I love that writing because it was so profound. He wrote on matchbooks. He wrote on pieces of toilet paper, candy wrappers. He wrote such a profound piece. But here's a quote from it. It says, in a real sense, all life is interrelated. All men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And that was something that he wrote in 1963. Howard Thurman, who's known as the mentor of Dr. King, said, the experience of being rooted in life and life being rooted in you is at the heart of spiritual awareness. And he wrote this in a book called Meditations of the Heart, really letting us know that we are truly connected. We just tend to forget. Bell Hooks, in her piece, Love as Interconnection, says, when we see love as the will to nurture our own and another's spiritual growth, we recognize that being loving is just not about the individuals we cherish. It's about embracing all of humanity. And in this, she was really talking about breaking down the oppressive systems and bringing interconnection and liberation to all. So as we go on, I just want to talk a little bit about the science of mind, the Center for Spiritual Living is what it's known as now, but the theology is called science of mind. And really, what it teaches is Christ consciousness and oneness and non duality. Uh, in science of mind, uh, Ernest Holmes says he's the founder of what we now know as Center for Spiritual Living. He said, there is one life. That life is God, and that life is our life now. So let's think about that. There is one life. That life is God, and that life is our life now. Can you imagine if we all thought about, hey, this life that I'm living also is connected to the Creator that has made us all? We cannot separate from that. It is us. I think we will probably handle one another better. And I'm not just saying just folks that are part of the CSL movement. I'm truly talking about all folks who are earthbound, who are here. They would say that I am connected to whoever they call the Creator, God, Allah, Jehovah, Spirit. And they would say, because of how we know that we're connected to one another through God, perhaps we would treat each other better. And so here's another one. The universe is impersonal. It gives alike to all. It is no respecter of persons. It values each alike. So it talks about how, and there's a running joke in my household about being blessed and highly favored, understanding that we are all blessed and highly favored, that we're all receiving the blessings of God as we were meant to have as children. So there's no separation that, oh, well, some people are more God's people than others. This really speaks to how we're all God's people, that we're all blessed, and that we're all highly favored. And then lastly, it says, this is another quote from Ernest Holmes. It says, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are his express likeness, the image of the eternal being. And so many of us we've heard about how uh, there is discussion in the Bible, and this is from the book The Hidden Power of the Bible. But we've read about how it's written in the Bible that we are all in the likeness of God, and sometimes we tend to forget that. We forget that we are one with God, that we're in the likeness of God, so much that we forget, and so we have to remind ourselves of our very being of the sacred thing that has made us all. We are in that likeness. So if we forget that, we are doomed to repeat some of the mistakes that we made throughout history. So I want to get into some of the applications. So the application, I have three. Practices of interbeing and mindfulness can help us to navigate life more skillfully. The second one is through mindfulness, we can embody interbeing. And the last is interbeing and mindfulness provide powerful tools for transformation. Fundamentally, altering how we see ourselves in the world. So the first one, it says, this month we will explore how the practices of interbeing and mindfulness can help us to navigate life more skillfully. Interbeing is a concept popularized by the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh. Interbeing is the idea that all things in the universe are connected with each other and in each entity existing only because of the existence of others. Our actions and existence are inextricably linked to everything else in the cosmos. We inter-are with one another and with all life. So the inter R is kind of their play on words that we talk about intergalaxy, that we truly are, that there's a connection, that is there's a wovenness, that we are connected with one another and with all life. The whole planet is one giant living, breathing cell, and all its parts linked to symbiosis. So point point being, I'm currently congested. I've been congested for a while now. My wife was sick prior to me. Uh, I'm sure she may have caught something at work, and maybe that person caught something somewhere else. And there were times where our children or my nephew was sick, and whatever he brought here, if he hung out with us, maybe one of us got sick from that. So that's just a small sample of how we're all connected, because we don't even know the person who got my nephew sick. We don't know the person who my wife works with got them sick. So that's just one thing that we really do share cells. We share we share germs. Things are around us that are connected to people who we've never even met. Each of our bodies are shared and occupied by thousands of other organisms and microbes that are necessary for us to live. It is imperative that we get away from the myth of the self-made person and realize without an intricate web of interrelations that we could not survive. And as Thich Nhat Hanh writes, when we free ourselves from the idea of separateness, we have compassion, we have understanding, and we have the energy to want to help. And he wrote that in The Art of Living. And the second one, through mindfulness, we can embody interbeing. Mindfulness is a practice of being fully present and aware in every moment, without judgment or distraction. Through mindfulness, we learn to pay attention to our thoughts, our feelings, and our environment that is around us in a way that is accepting and observant. This heightened awareness allows us to connect with the present and experience life more deeply and completely. When we are mindful, we see our lives are linked with others, how our actions impact others, and how others' conditions reflect on our own. This reciprocal awareness cultivates a sense of mutual care and concern. Mindfulness thus dissolves the barrier we often erect between ourselves and others, revealing that caring for others is inherently caring for ourselves. In terms, mindfulness practice might involve conscious breathing, walking meditation, and engaging fully in whoever we are or whatever we are doing. Such practices ground us in the present moment, allowing us compassion to arise naturally as we become more tuned to the life unfolding around us and within us. So I want to say a little bit more about that. Uh, we truly are connected. Mindfulness is one of those things where it helps you to pay attention to the things that are around you. It helps you to pay attention to yourself. I think if we're not judgmental, we can truly appreciate what other people are doing, what they're saying, and even with ourselves, we can be more gentle. We won't judge ourselves. We can understand why we said something with what we're doing. Be more mindful if we've said something that may have been harmful to others, to ourselves, and so we just really have to pay attention to that. We truly are connected. I used to say the forgiveness that we want from others is the forgiveness that we give to others. And it's true, because you've heard the expression, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Many of us have, maybe our words, our gestures, our thoughts, our behaviors have harmed people. And so it is expected that we are mindful of how we treat others, for we don't want the same thing to happen to us. We want to live, we want to love, we want to be happy, we want to be free, we want to have enough to take care of ourselves, and the list goes on. But so are other people. Other people want their needs met as well. The third one, interbeing and mindfulness provide powerful tools for transformation, fundamentally altering how we see ourselves in the world. And then it goes on to say, by recognizing that personal health, economic stability, and environmental stability are depending on the health and action of others, we can advocate for the policies and systems that are beneficial for each person and supportive of communal and global well being. Mindfulness and interbeing remind us that there is no out there, only there's no out there, nor is there any other. We are all joined together, all of us. Thus, when one person suffers, the whole world suffers. As caring human beings, it is incumbent upon us to work to make a difference in the world. In the words of Haile Selassie, throughout history, it has been an action of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, and the silence of justice when it mattered most that has ever made it possible for evil to triumph. And that's something we need to think about even today. I'll say that again. Throughout history, it's been the inaction of those who could have acted, the indifference of those who should have known better, and the silence of the voice of justice when it mattered most that has made it possible for evil to triumph. And like I said, we do know about those things right now. So the major points that I've just shared with you are practices of interbeing and mindfulness can help us navigate life more skillfully. Through mindfulness, we can embody interbeing, and interbeing and mindfulness provide powerful tools for transformation. So, in conclusion, as we seek a deeper connection and purpose, let us embrace the transformative practices of mindfulness and interbeing. This week, you can integrate mindfulness into your daily routines. Start your day with 5 minutes of focused breathing, simply breath in saying, breathing in, I know that I am alive. Breathing out, I know that I'm alive. If your focus wanders, simply bring it back to your breath. Take time to just be without distractions. No phone, no internet, no music, no TV, no TikTok, no YouTube. Just be and notice the world around you. And I really do mean that because I think that in the last, oh my God, 2 weeks, we've been glued to the TV watching some of the horrible things that have happened. In the United States, there's been a transition in government, and some of the things that have been happening, and just responding to that emotionally. And some folks, maybe some of you that are watching this video, are cheering it on, like, "Hell yeah, this is my guy, this is my thing." And then some of you are like, "Oh no, what's going to happen to this country?" And I've heard both sides of that. And the unfortunate thing is the folks who feel like they're winning truly aren't winning, because there, as long as there are folks there in your human family not winning, you're not necessarily winning because you have to still face them. This isn't a time to gloat. This isn't a time to talk about, oh well, my guy is in charge now. This is a time to really recognize that we really are connected. We're not separate, and we need to be connected now more than ever before. Interbeing teaches us that our lives are intertwined with others around the world, and we should recognize this interconnectedness in our interactions at the grocery store, on Zoom meetings, and sitting at the stoplight, contemplating all the ways that you are one with those around you. Again, I'm Reverend Jamel Gilliam. We are Baltimore Centers for Love, and I will see you next week.